Right, let me have the mic a sec. So, is Wardy here? Oh, he is.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back to it.
Finish his stuff off with Wardy, and then
Where were we? I can't remember where we were at.
you were just about
Oh man,
to climax.
I'm busy anyway. I can come back later. It's not an issue.
I remember I was about to climax, but I can't remember what we were talking about.
Well, I'd rather you did that kind of a
The
scene thing when I'm not around.
Three-dimensional sphere.
No, Wardy, I'm dying to ejaculate here. You know, I want to burst out the crescendo of my point.
Wardy thinks the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
The
Yeah, I remember
surface
that.
is. The surface
It
is.
isn't.
If you
It
pick
isn't.
any point on the surface of a sphere, it doesn't have a height, does it?
It must have a height
Yes.
to be.
Are
a
you
sphere.
talking in the real world, or are you talking in your geometrical two-dimensional grid reference that you can create?
If you're on the surface of a sphere, in all directions, it's two-dimensional.
Well, how does
Incorrect.
it curve away from you then?
Incorrect. Only on a circle is that true, not on a sphere.
What?
We're talking in the real world now, aren't we? We're not talking in geometry
Hang on,
of
okay.
your own definition.
A surface of a circle is that line that goes around the outside.
Yeah, the surface of a circle is, yes.
Right, lines are one-dimensional.
No, that would be a
the
point.
surface was the bit
No,
between
line
No,
the
no, no,
lines.
no, hang on. A line is not one-dimensional.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
two.
Length without breadth,
Yeah,
as defined.
there we go. So we agree on that. Lines are one-dimensional in that they only have one dimension.
There we go.
But what you're
Right.
missing
Yeah, but
here,
you're
Wardy.
talking about the bit between the lines, aren't you?
Yeah, no, but what we're talking about is a solid. Right now, you will agree that a solid is a physical mattered thing, right? That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so when in book 11 they do solid geometry, and they
on.
redefine the solid as a thing that has length, breadth, and thickness, thus having 3 dimensions. You do realise that a solid is a thing, right? It's not.
Yeah, so solids are three-dimensional objects. Get to your point.
Well, the surface is what bounds it, right?
Yeah.
So the surface is what bounds a 3-dimensional object. Now, if that 3-dimensional object is a sphere, surface is what is around it.
If I take a slice of a sphere, what do I have?
A slice of a sphere.
Yeah.
Segment.
If I have a two-dimensional slice of a sphere, what do I have?
A circle?
Right. Is a circle a three-dimensional object?
No, but do you think the surface of a
Hang on.
sphere is
Hang on.
a circle?
Before you tangent, right. Imagine the slice that I'm taking.
You're doing that.
Imagine
Hang on. Let him do it.
Imagine the slice that I'm taking has 0 thickness, right?
Then it doesn't exist.
But it's just the surface.
It doesn't exist if it has 0 thickness.
The thing is, if you're like on top of what you're classing as the sphere, and you took a
No.
slice-
We're missing it. We're missing the point. The point is this: if it has 0 thickness, it doesn't actually exist. It's a 0 value. It has to have quanta to exist, right?
Very true.
Mathematically speaking, no. If I'm talking about the surface,
See,
We're not talking about
There's the
maths.
problem.
We're talking
Mathematically
about
speaking, but
the
we're
real
talking in the
world.
real world.
we're talking about Euclidean geometry, right? You're trying to say that
You're
Euclidean
describing-
geometry states that the surface of a sphere is three-dimensional. It isn't.
It is. You need
Well, that's
length.
not what Euclid is saying. So I
It
don't
is.
get what you're.
Right. Length, breadth, thickness. X, Y, Z.
Yes,
That's
points
what
in
it defines
three-dimensional
shape as.
space.
What?
Points in three-dimensional space, great. But when you're talking about the surface of a sphere, and when you're mapping, and like we're, oh, for fuck's sake, if we're just dealing with the surface, the third dimension is irrelevant because we're just
can't
talking
be.
about the surface.
It
But
can't.
without
be.
the third dimension, you have a circle.
You have a circle, yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys don't get it. I do
No,
apologize.
it's you that doesn't get
It's
it.
okay. Your apology is accepted. Come back when you've read book 11, parts 1 and 2.
And when you've woken up.
Well, you've had this discussion on Twitter, and you've been told by multiple people that your definition here is wrong.
Are you talking to me now, or are you talking to them?
Wardy.
Well, you have. I know you have, Bev, because I've seen the discussion.
So you are talking
between
to me
you.
then? You've just gone from a discussion with them two to talking to me.
I tell you what I'll do, Wardy, just for you, because I know that you're not going to do it. I'm going to put in the live stream exactly what I've just asked you to read. It's in live stream right now. It's book 11, 1 and 2. When you've read them and you understand what solids are, not shapes, solids, come back to us.
And what's this going to prove?
That a solid has both length and breadth and depth.
Yes.
Whereas a
solid
shape
does.
Whereas a shape has length and breadth only because it's a shape. You're conflating and confusing solids with shapes.
Now find the bit in that same book that clearly states that the surface of a solid is not a shape.
It's 1 and 2. It's on screen for you. Have you got it on screen so you can read it? I want you to read it to me, and then you tell me that.
It doesn't clearly state that, does it?
It does. Number 1, Wardy.
No,
Number
it doesn't.
1, Wardy.
It tells you what a solid is, and then it tells you a solid has a surface. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell
What
you.
does it define?
It
What
does
does
not explicitly state that the surface is also a solid, does it?
Yes, it explicitly states it.
No,
Yes,
it doesn't.
You just don't understand it. Let's
No,
read
it doesn't. No,
Wardy.
it doesn't.
Wardy, I'm going to beg for you to read what it actually says
No,
verbatim
it
for me.
doesn't. Right, go and ask a mathematician.
No, I'm asking you to read
Go
it
and ask a
verbatim for me.
mathematician.
Please, for me. I'm begging of you, Wardy.
Go and ask
Read it
a
verbatim.
mathematician. I've read it. I want you to read it
for me
you've
verbatim.
got, Tony, is you like to repeat the same bullshit day in, day out. I've read the same bullshit that you've been posting day in, day out for the last week. It doesn't make any difference if I read it again.
Wardy, I'm begging you, please, for me, just read line 1.
Yeah, I've read it.
No, aloud, not silently,
What difference will that make?
because it's going to explicitly state that the thing that you say isn't true is actually true. So please, Wardy, I beg of you, read.
The thing that you're claiming that I'm saying, I'm not
That's why
saying.
he won't read it, Tony. That's
I
exactly
know he
why he
won't.
won't read
Wardy,
it.
come on, please, I beg of you, read what it says.
A solid is that which has length, breadth, and thickness.
Right, so is a sphere, in real world, is a sphere a solid, or is it simply a shape?
A sphere is a solid, yes.
Right, so therefore it has length, breadth, and depth, right? 3 dimensions. Now read what it
Yes.
says about number 2, verbatim.
That which bounds a solid is a superficies, whatever
So
that is.
what does that mean?
I don't know.
You don't
What
know
does that mean
what
to you?
Problem.
You don't know what
That's
superficial is.
There you go.
It's a surface, yes.
You don't
Right.
understand what number 2 means.
What is... Okay, fine. Let's look at the
He
definition
says
of
he's
that.
read these day in, day out when we post them, but he
So,
couldn't have done
Wardy,
if he doesn't
you-
understand
Can't
what
waive
he's reading.
dismissal every time.
Hang on. No, hang on. I'm just reading up the definition of superficies. Okay,
Means
surface. Right. Earlier on, in that same set of
So-
information, that same series of books, Euclid defines a surface as being a two-dimensional thing.
No, that's a shape.
Yes, a surface is a shape.
Surface. Not surface.
Surface is a shape.
Surface isn't
No,
a
shapes
shape.
are not surfaces. They don't have the third dimension. They're a
Fine.
shape.
It got
Find me-
redefined, didn't it, within
Find
the
me in that
third
book.
dimension?
Find me
Mike?
in that book where Euclid changes the definition of a surface. Then
Right there in that book
clown.
3, it redefines it for
that
solids.
does not say that.
Yeah, it
That does not say
Just
that.
read it.
Euclid is not saying a shape is now a solid, is he?
A shape's a 2-dimensional drawing, isn't it? A shape.
Yeah.
Right? But a solid isn't a shape. A solid is something with substance. It's a real thing, right?
Well done. You can play with words.
No, I'm just trying to educate you. There's a
That's
difference.
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, there's a difference between a shape and a surface, Wardy. And the thing is, you don't like being corrected because on this instance, you are wrong.
I'm not being corrected. You're wrong.
No, you are wrong,
You're
Wardy.
outright
And just
wrong.
like the rumpus, just like Kosho, you will not concede.
Wardy, it says,
It's-
Wardy,
it's
when it
in-
says that, Wardy, listen, when it says that which bounds a solid is a superficies, that which bounds a football would be the surface of a sphere, right? but the surface of the sphere has length, breadth, and depth. Sorry, you've got it wrong and you just don't understand it. And it's not down to me to help you other than point it out. And if you still don't accept it, I'm sorry, Wardy, but you're just wrong.
There we go. Definition of a surface. A continuous set of points that has length and breadth but no thickness.
Is that a mathematical definition?
Wow, that's 2 dimensions, not 3. Oh
Where
my
have you got
god.
that from? Where are you citing it from?
Literally just ask Google to define it.
Yeah, it's a mathematical expression, not real world. What you're doing is using a mathematical representation of a geometric shape, a real world thing. Now, you can do that, but only in maths.
No. This is the geometric definition of a surface.
It isn't. The geometric definition of a surface is defined by Euclid in Book 11.
Read definition 2.
Definition
Read
2.
it out loud right now, Anthony. Come on.
I will. Are you talking definition 2
Read
in the verb
definition
or in the noun?
2. Read definition 2.
Noun or verb?
Book?
Read definition 2.
Of which book?
The noun or the verb? The verb.
What does it say next to definition 2?
There's 2. There's the noun for. There's definition 2 in noun and there's definition
noun.
2 in verb.
The noun.
The noun. It says
Yeah.
a continuous set of points. Points. Right. That is length, breadth, but no thickness.
Yeah.
Okay,
And what does it say next to the word? Not next to 2. What does it say next to 2?
Geometry.
Wait
Yeah,
a
that's
minute.
not consistent
That's
with
the
geometry, is it?
geometric definition
Can I
for
have
the noun
just
surface.
Right. Can you define a point for us?
A one-dimensional.
No, that's a line, isn't it? Length without breadth. Just define a point for us. I think
The
that's
lines-
number 1.
So lines are the stuff between 2 points, right?
What? Yeah,
I'm
I'll
struggling
get my
to
lad
work
to read it. Definition, book 1, definition 1.
A point is that which has no parts or which has no magnitude.
Right, so that's a collection of things which have no parts, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's that then? A collection of nothing?
So it's a 0-dimensional thing.
Yeah, so the surface, according to you and that definition, is a continuous set of nothings that has length and breadth, but no. So it's a 2-dimensional thing.
That's proving my
that
point
has
that you're
nothing.
quoting Euclid and
No,
you
no.
don't understand his work.
No, a point.
No, what you're
is
actually doing.
Nothing.
Hang on, stop. Bev, forgive
All
me.
right, I've got work to do, guys. I haven't got time
Hang on,
for
stop,
this.
please, don't leave.
We're not going to play
Don't leave.
word games all day. This is
Wardy,
You're
ridiculous.
just going to
Don't
run
leave.
away again, Wardy.
No,
like
wait,
normal.
I'm not running away. I'm stating
Yeah,
that
you
you
are.
don't understand the conversation, so there's no
Wardy,
point in
please
having
stop.
it.
You've had
Wardy,
it defined
don't
to
leave.
you, Wardy.
Wait, please. Wardy, what you've done is you've brought up a definition that is different to the Euclid definition. That's what's happened. Now, we
That's
can agree.
geometry, mate. I'm sorry if you don't understand.
Hang on, that's a definition off Google that doesn't match Euclid's geometry. Can we agree?
Well, you're choosing to use some book that you've got. I don't even know what this book is. You're just claiming it's something.
Euclid's one of the greatest
That's a page from
mathematicians ever.
anything.
Yeah, but what is it you're citing, though? Because we're citing Euclid, but what are you citing from Google?
I'm citing Google.
Yeah, why, though? Is it a dictionary? Is
Google.
it Rumpolian geometry? What is it?
Citing Google. That's like citing Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Oh,
What-
dear.
I'm conceding that you've got a definition that's in contrast. But what I'm saying is that my definition, or the one that we're citing, is Euclid himself. What are you citing?
He just said Google.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
The point is that the Google definition is Euclid's definition. They are one and the
It
same.
isn't. They're not one and
They're
the same. They're different.
Google
That's right.
Google will simplify things for the masses. That's the only
For the dumb
difference.
bastards. For the dumb bastards. Not
Yeah,
because it's
like
simplification.
flat earthers that don't
So why
understand
don't
what
you
point is.
understand it, Wardy?
The
If
point
it's
I'm making is that
simplifying it-
Euclid's far more credible than a Google reference.
Yeah, you're asserting that, but you're also asserting that plumb lines are always parallel.
Well, they are, aren't they?
They are,
It's
otherwise they
called
wouldn't be plumb.
geometry.
They'd be wonky.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. See, this is the problem.
Well,
Is that you can't prove
provide
that.
a,
Not really.
provide a
It's only a
citation.
problem if you want to believe in a ball.
Okay, show me two plumb lines that are exactly parallel that are 10 miles apart on Earth.
It's up to you to show us two plumb
They're
lines
not.
that aren't parallel.
'Cause it's
10
your
miles
claim.
apart. So off you go.
Well, Sowerly's done that.
No, he has not.
He hasn't.
Yes, he has.
What Soundly showed us was a bit of refraction that he claims is the curvature of the Earth that was modelled to a model that was curved that matched his picture, but that doesn't prove that the Earth's curved. It's
And how
refraction.
far
nothing
apart
more.
were they?
10
Those
miles,
lines?
15 miles?
He measured those lines with GPS.
Less than a mile. So off you go, Wardy. Back your own claim up. Go and find us 2 plumb lines that aren't parallel, that are 10 miles apart.
I'd like to know how you're going to measure it as well.
Well, this is the point that I was trying to make out with Bev's experiment, showing that you can adjust the height of water level doesn't change anything.
Mate, sorry, it's Wardy. Sorry, mate. Just let me finish. So, how would you measure those 2 points, the top of the plumb bob and the bottom, over 10 miles?
You could use GPS to determine if the tops of 2 lines and the bottoms of 2 lines were equidistant apart.
Measure. Which bit of measure don't you understand?
You're saying we can't use GPS as a measuring tool?
Yes, that's exactly what we're saying.
Prove it.
Because he said it's a mathematical calculation. It's not a measurement, is it?
Triangulation is not a calculation.
Yeah, of course it is. You are calculating the distance between the towers and the thing that you're trying to find the location of.
You've already got the distances. You've been told them.
It's a calculation, Wardy. Use a measurement with your perpendiculars. There's a good boy. Off you go.
So this comes back to your distrust of math. And yet you want to cite Euclid to me.
No. It comes back to evidence to support the assertion and then the correct definition of words.
And triangle as
So
well.
on the one hand...
You mentioned triangulation, so can we just go over...
So hang on. On the one hand, you want to cite Euclid to me and tell me your definition of... or understanding of Euclid is more correct than my definition. On the other hand, I tell you to use something that is a mathematical model of the actual reality that we live in, that is and has been constantly every day proven to be correct, to measure accurately to within millimeters, that 2 plumb lines are not actually parallel to one another.
Right,
and you're telling me that that's not true.
How can you measure a vertical using GPS, which is what you're trying to measure with plumb lines?
Have you ever used a laser level?
You are trying to measure
not a laser level. One of those.
How far apart 2 vertical lines are.
Have you ever used one of those laser
How are you going to do that?
measuring tools?
How are you going to do that with GPS?
Have you ever used one of those laser
Answer my
measuring
question. Answer my question. How are you going to measure how far apart 2 vertical lines are with GPS?
Triangulate both points. Once you've triangulated them, look at the distance between them. Those 2 points.
So you have to calculate.
How do you know? Yeah, how do you know how high the vertical is?
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? So I could have
Because your
the
triangulation tells you that.
I could have the vertical 1 millimeter in length.
No, what I'm saying is, if you've got 2 plumb lines,
it does matter then. It does matter.
If you've got 2 plumb lines that
Wardy,
both...
you're talking out your backside.
Let me
mate.
finish, you retard.
You are talking out of your arse.
I've got 2 plumb lines. If they both start 1 meter off the ground and end 2 meters above the ground, then they're both 1 meter above the ground at their start point. Are they not? Are they not?
If you
Tell me I'm wrong.
If you say they're 1 meter above the ground, then they're 1 meter above the ground.
Okay, can I measure that 2 plumb lines start 1 meter above the ground with reasonable levels of accuracy?
Hang on. Your first point was it doesn't matter how long these lines are. Now you're telling me it does matter how long these lines are.
No,
So
my point was it doesn't matter how high above the ground they are. Don't misquote me.
You said it doesn't matter how long they were because Spot On asked you how long the lines were, and you said it doesn't matter. So the original point was that it doesn't. You claim it doesn't matter how long these lines are. Now you are changing your story, and you are saying it does matter how long these lines are. So can you do me a favour and make up your mind before you go on with your little fairy story?
The thing that determines how long those lines need to be is dependent on the accuracy of the measurement that you're making.
It does matter how long the lines are then.
For the purpose of the description that I was trying to put together, it didn't matter at that point.
What do you mean it didn't matter at that point? That point is a nothing space.
Because you're doing your
that
usual
point
and you're
is an
rumpusing me and not letting me finish.
I'm not rumpusing you.
Yes, you are.
I'm trying to get a definitive answer out of you, but you just keep worming.
Do you want me to finish my point, or are you going to keep rumpusing me?
I'm not rumpusing you.
Right. So we have two parallel lines. Let's say they're a metre in length.
You
Right.
said it didn't matter how long they were.
That's why I said let's just say they're a metre in length. For fuck's sake, man.
But you said it didn't matter how long they were.
Oh,
Do you
God,
want to make your mind up?
Right, if you're going to be an idiot about it, I've got work to do. I've got better things to do than to just be fucking straw man.
The better thing
I'm
to
not
do than to be
strawmanning
triggered
you.
and not
It was
answer
your original
directly.
point.
You've just been humdrum
If you
and
can't
awkward
go
and you
with your
can't admit
original
it.
point, then why did you make your point in the first place?
I'm sorry, I can't explain the basics of 2 lines to you guys.
Oh, I can understand what a line is.
Well, apparently you can't, because this is
Well,
a really big problem for you guys to get.
No.
Don't.
I understand what a line is, and I
See you later,
understand what
guys. Have
parallel
fun.
lines are.
What in the fuck was that? Oh dear.